Welcome back, everyone. Today we are talking about this super budget shotgun right here. This is a single shot McCoy shotgun. I recently purchased this for $70. So we purchased it for $70. It is a 12 gauge. I believe it has a 26-inch vent rib barrel on there. It comes with just the traditional brass piece out there on the end for sighting. Did replace that with an XS big dot on there. That is the only upgrade we have done. Big thanks to our friends over at XS there for supporting the channel. And then, of course, additionally, we have Rattle Can, this guy here. Reasoning for that, down here in the Southeast, the finish on this, which was just a phosphate finish, there was no way it was going to hold up at all. So hopefully this Rattle Can will make it a little bit more rust resistant, and obviously it just looks a little bit cooler as well. So basic operation of the gun itself, let's walk through that. So basically the hinge point is activated off the trigger guard. So you press the trigger guard back, then you can hinge open the action. There is no ejector on this, so you are going to have to pull the shells manually out. At least I think so. I have not fired this gun yet, so we're all going to walk through it together. We're going to print some patterns. We're going to shoot some targets like water, pumpkin, stuff like that with all different types of 12 gauge and see how it does. But basically, yeah, that is how it opens. You can actually hinge it down quite far for a compact little setup because there is a cutout there in the foregrip. Should also mention, speaking of the foregrip, looking around online, apparently these guns were sold for many, many years at Walmart for around $100. So there are a ton of them out there, tons, and lots of reports. And one report that we did see quite a bit was that the handguard will fall off after a few shots. So I actually removed this little screw there, which is actually a bolt, it's not a screw. I removed the bolt and Loctited that down as well. So that has been done. And right now, the gun is on safe. And so basically the way it works is you cock the hammer to fire it, and then the safety itself physically is blocking the hammer. Hopefully we'll roll in some B-roll so you guys can see that. But again, the safety is physically blocking it. There's a thicker piece of the safety that is blocking the hammer from hitting that firing pin. And then when you push the safety over from the right side to the left, you will see the red on there. Red is dead, and you are ready to fire. The actual trigger on this gun is absolutely abysmal. It is horrific. So it doesn't feel like a trigger. For those of you guys who have experience with belt feds, it feels like a sear drop. So like on a M240 or something like that, when you pull the trigger, you're not actually actuating a trigger. What you're doing is you're dropping the sear, sear block. That's exactly what this feels like. It doesn't feel like a trigger. It's really bad. Do I think it will matter for a shotgun? Probably not. So with that, that is the gun. Let's go ahead and fire a couple rounds through it at some paper. We have that cardboard down there at 10 yards from where I am standing right now. We have some Winchester. This is 7.5 shot, heavy. So we'll see how that runs and see how it feels. Hopefully the gun doesn't blow up in my face. Again, you guys are going to see it. First shot's right with me. So again, we're going to cock the hammer. I'm going to aim at the top little X there on my cardboard target. All right, so I'm still in one piece. That is good. Let's go check that target out. So as you guys can see, a pretty wide pattern there for 10 yards for sure. Some people on the internet have said that this has a cylinder bore. Other people have said it has a modified choke. I figured the best way to figure out how it's going to pattern is not to debate that on the internet because, again, the manual does not say. There's no information in the manual at all outside of the safety information that we already went over. So we're just going to pattern it and see how it does. So basically, all the way around side to side, that is a 22-inch group at 10 yards with that Winchester. Let's switch it up with some buckshot and see how that does. Next load up is going to be some Cellar and Bellet, or S&B. This is double aught buck, so high brass on there, and we're going to see how that does. I should note there's absolutely no pad on the rear. It is just a straight up piece of metal. That's lovely. Let's see how it does. We're going to aim at the bottom target there and see where we group. Y'all can see that group there with the buckshot. Honestly, that's pretty darn good at 10 yards with just regular old buck. It is a relatively tight group. We're at center to center, right at about 8 inches, 8.5 inches with that one. Shooting a little bit low, which is good to know because next up we're going to shoot some targets that react a little bit. All right, first up is going to be a gallon of water. Once again, the S&B ammo. Should also note that all the ammo here that we're using throughout today's video comes from our friends over at Firearms Depot. They are our ammo sponsor here. We definitely appreciate that. Definitely check them out if you're in the market for ammo. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it. There is a bush hog right over there to my left, your right. Hopefully it's not too loud, but we're gonna run that buckshot through there, see how it does. I'm gonna aim a little bit high because of that pattern we saw earlier. We're about 7 yards, so should have a little bit of a little fun. That would hurt. As you guys can see there, completely demolished it. All those went right on through. We actually had a few of them hit the target, which you guys could probably see as well in those B cameras there. But definitely a devastating round for sure. Obviously, you only get one round here without having to reload, manually reload it. But if you use the right load with 12 gauge, it can be a devastating round. Next up, we have a Federal True Ball slug rated for 1,350 feet per second. I would imagine it's going to get every bit of that out of this barrel here. And I'm just going to aim dead center because honestly, I don't know where to hold with the slug. We didn't pattern that, obviously. And we'll see how she does. That would hurt my shoulder. I can imagine what the jug felt like. So I actually wanted to bring you guys in and let you see the actual damage this thing did. Obviously shredded the gallon, but this box here I had filled with dirt in case like buckshot rounds went off track or something like that. And the actual force of the jug expanding caused the actual dirt there to expand like that in a box. For those who don't know, to get dirt to move like that, it's very, very difficult. There's one reason that dirt, or a good reason I should say, that dirt is used for sandbags and things like that to prevent bullets from coming through. So to see just the shock wave do that to that dirt is impressive. Because we're close to Halloween, I figured it was appropriate to shoot some pumpkins with some buckshot. We moved in a little bit closer and we're gonna hammer that pumpkin. We got a couple other loads, a couple other pieces of fruit as well. But before we do that, we do need to thank the sponsor of today's video because somebody has to pay for the fruit. So let's check that out.
These are the Dark Force NVBs by MCG Tactical. Compact and lightweight, they give you cutting-edge infrared night vision with full color 1080p on a 2.5-inch HD display. With 7 levels of adjustable infrared, you get perfect brightness whether it's a moonlit night or it's pitch black. Speaking of that, let's take a look at some of the footage I filmed out in my backyard when it was, in fact, pitch black with these.
I mean, it is pitch black out there, as you guys can see with the phone footage. And then that's what it looks like with the IR turned on. It's kind of crazy.
So if you want night vision on a budget, we have a great deal for you today. 90% off just for my audience with free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Visit mcgtac.com/GNGdark. Again, visit mcgtac.com/GNGdark for 90% off these night vision binoculars. So we've obviously moved into a few yards away. Same S&B double-up buck. We're going to see how she does. Whew. That was less eventful than I thought. I was aiming dead center, so it does appear this buckshot's grouping a little bit low there. As you guys can see, that was our entrance hole. That was our exit hole, so not as exciting as I was hoping, but I kind of planned for this, so let's keep going. We have another pumpkin. However, this time we filled it with about a half a gallon of water, so hopefully it'll be a little bit more reactive. Same S&B double up buck, same distance, so this one should jump a little bit. I was expecting more jump. So absolutely no doubt about it. It definitely did a lot more damage. I was aiming towards the bottom on this one, hoping to get to where all that water was. That was our entrance hole. It split it. Last time it didn't do anything like that.
And then there's our exit hole. You can see the entire bottom of the pumpkin though came off. And again, that's just due to water. Water doesn't expand when you shoot it, so it can do some fun things. But that pumpkin rind, this particular one anyway, pretty tough stuff. All right, the last piece of fruit for today. Once again, we're going with that federal slug. It should be screaming out of there. We'll see how the watermelon reacts. That's what I was expecting. I just went and checked on the watermelon there. It is all pulverized. It's absolutely not edible. I was going to see if it was edible, have a piece. It is not. It's like gel. It's gelatinized. So that slug, 100% beat the brakes off that watermelon as expected. All right, time for the last reactive target. We have a bunch of golf balls down there. Once again, that S&B, and the golf balls are falling already. Not a good sign. We're going to try to hit them. I'm going to hold a little bit high because it is hitting a little bit low, and we'll see how they do. One of them went about 30 yards downrange. I say we got him. Interesting results down there on the golf ball. So basically, there were several of them that the pellets absolutely hit. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but that is the entrance there. And then that's the exit. The reason I'm able to tell it's the exit is it actually is deformed the golf ball out, if that makes sense. So it definitely went right on through the golf balls. Pretty impressive performance in terms of the golf balls. I would have expected them to have a little bit more damage, but these things are wound on the inside for folks who don't play golf. So pretty durable interior there on golf balls. So let's talk about the shotgun. So again, this is a McCoy. There are Hatfields that are going to be the exact same thing, just a different brand, but it's the exact same product. Available in both 12 gauge like we have here, 20 gauge, 410, and I think there's actually 28 gauge out there as well. So what do I think of it? Well, I mean, for 70 bucks, I'm extremely happy with it. It performs as expected. With the buckshot there, pretty tight groups, as you guys could see. Not mad about it for self-defense. In a pinch, if you needed it, it would certainly beat a sharp stick like we talked about. Obviously, you can't really reload it quickly, but that one shot you get is a devastating shot if you actually had to use it. So in a pinch, would it work for home defense? Absolutely. Now, we should also mention that these guns are not currently in production, at least to the best of my knowledge. The closest thing I know of to something like this that is a production gun is a Savage 301 or the Stevens 301. Those ones are coming in under $200. So if you wanted that type of capability, I guess you certainly could go that route, or you can wait until one of these comes on sale and pick one of these up. I mean, again, for $69, I'm not mad about it at all. I think a lot of people for defense would probably cut it down to 18.5 inches, but we left it as is for the review, getting that full velocity out of it. I kind of think it is one of those guns that there's just not a whole lot that can go wrong. One thing that we noticed throughout the testing here is that about 4 or 5 rounds in, a few shots ago on the pumpkins, we did start to have a crack there on the actual stock itself. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but again, we're firing full house loads through it, and it was actually a slug, I believe, that did that, if I remember correctly. So it's not something I would view as an heirloom gun, but if you wanted it for like a hunting cabin or something like that, I mean, it would certainly work. Something that you didn't want to worry about if it rusted, etc. It would do the job. So that is my take on it. Would it be my first gun for home defense? Absolutely not. But with something like this, you have some capabilities with it. You can carry some spare rounds with you and get a few shots on target should you need to do so. And of course, shotgun. So what you can fire through it is basically whatever you can imagine. So that's all I got for you. If you guys like this type of video, make sure you subscribe for more fun videos like this. Hopefully all the noise, the wind, the construction, all that stuff wasn't too bad. We had a good time out here. If you guys are subscribed on Rumble and YouTube and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, you're being censored by an algorithm. Easy way around that is to sign up for the email at the website here on your screen. This email goes out at most once a month, and it has all the videos since the previous email went out, so that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. Additionally, when you sign up, you'll get put on the daily deals email. That goes out every day, as the name indicates, and it has typically 8 to 10 of the best deals that we find around the internet. When these things were in stock, they were definitely in that email for sure, but ammunition, optics, lights, lasers, etc. If the item is in the email on a given day, it's the cheapest I know of for that item. So that way it saves you guys some time and hopefully saves you some money, because I've already done the price comparisons for you, I should say. And then lastly, we do have an SMS service that you guys can sign up for. That goes out at most once a day, and it has typically something that is about to sell out, a very, very good deal, and or a new video that has just dropped. So that way, once again, we can get around that algorithm. You can text the word gear rather to the code here on your screen, and that will get you signed up, or you can head over to the website and sign up the old fashioned way. Either way works for me. And that is it. That's all I got for you. If you guys have one of these Hatfield or McCoy guns, let me know how it's been down below. Looking forward to hearing it and looking forward to seeing everybody in the next video.